Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Saturday, March 11, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want to access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. New York Knicks versus Los Angeles Clippers. Taking the Knicks to cover their spread in this one for a couple of reasons. New York has been hot recently, not necessarily in their past 2 games, but they carried a 9-game win streak into those games, and have covered in 8 of their past 10. The Clippers are almost the opposite, having won their past 2 while dropping 5 games in a row before those. The trends are not in the Clippers' favor either, with them failing to cover in 5 of their past 6 games against a team with a winning record, and failing to cover in 21 of their past 26 games coming off 2 days rest. Meanwhile, the Knicks have covered 6 of their past 7 games against a team with a winning record, and have covered 10 of their past 14 games when these teams face off in Los Angeles. In terms of gameplay, expect the Knicks to keep things close throughout the game, with the lead teetering between the 2 teams, where they then rely on Julius Randle and their defense to put things away late. For these reasons, I am confident in taking the Knicks to cover their spread in this one. Our team pick is Knicks plus 5 points, taking the over in this matchup for a couple of reasons. These teams love scoring against each other, with them going over in 7 of their past 9 meetings. They have also been scoring a bunch as of late. The Knicks have scored 115 or more in 4 of their past 5 games, and the Clippers have scored 115 or more in 2 of their past 3. In addition, the Knicks have gone over in their past 4 Saturday games, and in 8 of their past 10 games against a team with a winning record, while the Clippers have gone over in 4 of their past 5 Saturday games. In terms of gameplay, expect both teams to play well and for it to be a tight game throughout. Expect a good pace and for both teams to convert on a good amount of their shots. The last time these teams faced off, the game went 41.5 points over the total set at 220.5, and I expect there to be a similar result in this matchup, making me confident in taking the over. Utah Jazz versus Charlotte Hornets. I like the Utah Jazz, minus 3.5, on the road, as I see them being the better offensive team in this matchup. They will score consistently throughout this game and the Hornets will struggle to keep up. According to todaynba, the Jazz have the 8th highest adjusted offensive rating and they are scoring the 5th most points per game. The Hornets won't be able to slow them down, as they won't be able to stay competitive in this game. Charlotte is allowing the 24th most points per contest and they have the 21st lowest adjusted defensive rating. They won't get consistent stops and they will slowly fall behind. I don't see the Hornets lighting up the scoreboard in this one either. They are averaging the 26th most points per game and they have the lowest adjusted offensive rating. They won't stay hot on the offensive end of the court and they will quickly fall behind in this game. Pick the Utah Jazz and lay the points, minus 3.5. I really like the over in this matchup as both teams' defenses struggle mightily while Utah also has one of the best offenses in the NBA. Utah is 36-29-2 in hitting the over, while on the road the Jazz is 22-11-1 in hitting the over. Charlotte, meanwhile, has struggled to hit the over as they are 29-39, but this is a good matchup for the over to hit. The Hornets play at a pace of 103.5, which ranks 7th, while the Jazz play at a pace of 102.8, which ranks 10th. Meanwhile, both Charlotte and Utah rank in the bottom 10 in defensive efficiency, while the Jazz is 9th in offensive efficiency, which should help the over. Finally, in Utah's last 5 games, the games are averaging 233.6 ppg, while Charlotte's last 5 are averaging 208 ppg, but they did play against good defensive teams, which Utah is not. Pick the over 229 points. Miami Heat versus Orlando Magic. I like the Miami Heat, minus 3.5, on the road against the Magic, as I don't see Orlando scoring enough points to cover this spread. According to pickdawgz, the Magic only have the 25th highest adjusted offensive rating and they are averaging the 27th most points per game. They will have issues against this Miami defense, as the Heat has continued to smother their opponents this season. They are currently allowing the second least amount of points per game, and they have the 7th lowest adjusted defensive rating. They won't allow the Magic to consistently score throughout this game, which will allow them to slowly pull away. The Miami defense will be the story of this game, as I see them being motivated to win this one. The Orlando offense isn't efficient enough to consistently score against the Heat, as they will fall behind in this game. Pick the Miami Heat and lay the points, -3.5, on the road. The under is the best way to attack this game, as the Heat like to slow down the pace, and we have 2 games of evidence Orlando has a hard time scoring against Miami. The Heat is currently 37-30 in hitting the under, and on a back-to-back, Miami is 6-4, while Orlando is 33-32 in hitting the under. As well, the Heat is currently playing at a pace of 98.9, which ranks 28th, while their offensive and defensive efficiency ranks 26th and 5th, respectively. The Magic, meanwhile, are playing at a pace of 101.4, which ranks 16th. In the 2 games these 2 teams have played, the games have gone for 212.5 ppg. Take the under 221.5 points. Indiana Pacers versus Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are headed towards another potential top 3 pick in next year's draft, as they hold the worst record in the Eastern Conference entering this matchup with Indiana. Rookie Jaden Ivey is the last man standing for a team marred by injuries, and they are not in a hurry to rush anyone back. Indiana almost let one slip away as the Rockets blasted them in the paint and took them to overtime. Detroit lacks anything inside, and the Pacers will be able to deal with James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley with little to zero issues. The Pacers have covered the spread in 6 of its last 8 games, and need these games against weaker opponents if they want a shot at the playoffs. Take Indiana -5.5 points. The losing continued for the tanking Detroit Pistons, a 113-103 home loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Corey Joseph scored 17 points and James Wiseman had 16 points and 13 rebounds. It has been a dismal year for the Pistons, but they have been without most of their primary guys. Detroit played without 4 of the 5 starters from its season-opening win over the Orlando Magic. Cade Cunningham, leg, Isaiah Stewart, shoulder, and Bojan Bogdanovic, Achilles, are injured, while Saddiq Bey was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Rookie Jaden Ivey is the only player to start both games. I thought our approach was disappointing tonight, Pistons coach Dwayne Casey said after the game. I don't know if it is just all the games we've played in a short time, but I didn't feel like we came out with the kind of energy we needed. Detroit tried to keep it close and cut it to 10 entering the 4th. The final score was not indicative of how the game went, as they trailed by 17+ for most of the final quarter before a late surge made the score appear close. They are 15-52 entering this game, last in the Eastern Conference. The losing continued for the tanking Detroit Pistons, a 113-103 home loss to the Charlotte Hornets. Corey Joseph scored 17 points and James Wiseman had 16 points and 13 rebounds. It is unfortunate they have to turn to these guys at this juncture of the season, but they want it this way because more losses mean more opportunity for the top pick. Indiana is 8th in pace entering this game, and they should be able to get whatever they want against the Pistons both at the rim and beyond the arc. The total number has gone over in 4 of Indiana's last 5 games and 6 of its last 8 games facing Central Division opponents. Take the over 230.5 points. Boston Celtics versus Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta is in action Friday evening against the Washington Wizards and will be on the second leg of a back-to-back for this Eastern Conference tilt. It has been a rocky season that has brought in a new coach, Quinn Snyder, and they are a dangerous club if they can sneak into the playoffs, considering the talent they have. They are in 8th place in a hotly contested Eastern Conference. They are a much better club at home, going 18-13 compared to a 15-20 road mark. Boston has been the class of the East, but besides their drubbing against Portland, they have not been the most efficient team after the All-Star break. Even though it is a back-to-back, Atlanta is far hungrier and will beat the spread, considering Boston is opening as a favorite. Ignore the points and take them on the money line. Atlanta is in action Friday evening against the Washington Wizards and will be on the second leg of a back-to-back for this Eastern Conference tilt. 2 nights prior, they played that same Wizards team and came away with a big 122-120 win. DeAndre Hunter had a crucial 3-point play with under 2 minutes left to put Atlanta up for good. The Hawks trailed by as many as 15 points, but after a 14-0 run at the end of the 3rd quarter and the start of the 4th, they were up by 6. Trae Young led Atlanta with 28 points and 10 assists, and he shot 11 of 14 from the field. The Boston Celtics played the Portland Trail Blazers 2 nights ago, and essentially ran a scrimmage as they destroyed them 115-93, a score that looked closer than the game. Jason Tatum scored 30 points and Derek White chipped in 21 points and 5 assists. Al Horford finished with 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, playing more minutes. The Celtics played without center Robert Williams for the third straight game as he recovers from a strained left hamstring. But they got back Tatum and Horford, who both sat out Monday's overtime loss at Cleveland nursing a sore knee and back. The Celtics are 18th in pace of play entering this showdown with Atlanta. They have been one of the most efficient teams in the NBA, on both sides of the ball. They are 4th in both offensive and defensive ratings and have been atop the Eastern Conference for most of the year. Atlanta has been routinely abused on the glass this year, but Boston may be without Robert Williams and Clint Capella has played well. That means a lot of good shots at the rim to accompany their three-point shooting. I'd like this to be a back-and-forth game with both teams putting up 110+. The aforementioned Hawks are a much better team at home and will showcase that here. Take the over 235 points.